We're live.
Whoa!
Yeah, good. How are you, Steve?
Yeah, good.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hey, everybody in Facebook, YouTube. Welcome to the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame. I'm Thundercloud. Mum calls me James. Not much rain's happening today. No. No. So, yeah, welcome. Let's begin the night straight up with the acknowledgement of country that we're on Band-by Kamilaroi land, and acknowledging the continuing connection to the land of the elders past, present and emerging, and acknowledge that not sovereignty's never been ceded. Which kind of makes this election invalid.
Totally. Totally.
Yeah. Illegitimate government, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Right, moving right along. Ah, lovely Chrissy from Ballarat's been at it again. Sending us more books. They were all wrapped up in paper and bits of string, lovely wrapped again. I've got some here. That's not all of them. That's just some of them. And a lot of these came from the Rotary Book Fair down in Armidale this week. So I got heaps and heaps of really cool poetry books down there this week for the Poetry Library and Archive, which just keeps growing and growing and growing. So if you do happen to see any cheap, good poetry books, pick them up, and I'll be quite happy to help you out with them. And this is from Chrissy. It says, "Hi James, hi Chrissy, hi poets."
Hello.
Say hi Chrissy.
Hi, Chris.
Hi.
Let's try that again. Hi poets.
Hello, Chrissy.
Bless you. Bless you.
That's better. That's better. All right. How are you? How's Gladys? There you go. Mention.
Hey.
Hope you're recovering well. Yes, she has, Chrissy, and she's back here.
We've got him here.
Thank you for bringing. Oh, okay. Everybody, stop. Good, he's here. All right. You know, it's his birthday next week. Friday. Yeah. Yeah, he's 100. 170. All right. So thank you for bringing sunshine and rainbows the other night. And wow, the tour through the Arcadia was magic, James, and looking forward to the new Spotlight Tuesdays, which is what I'm doing every Tuesday night. I'm reading doing my own reading on my own. I'll probably get in someone to interview every now and then as well. So chilling Tuesdays, where I'm just chilling, reading poetry, sitting down, not performing it. Still broadcast on Facebook and on YouTube, so you can catch up if you want to see me be bored stupid by poetry. Yeah. All right, well that's all right. I'm allowed to say that because I got a beret on. I'm looking like a poet. I believe that's what poet looks like, and French people don't all go ha ha ha.
Yes, I do.
No, that's stereotypical. I was told by my French wife. And don't do that at all, and she never heard anyone go yeah. All right, but anyway, moving right along. So yes, she's 2 nights a week. She's happy about that. And here's the rest of the books that were promised that were hiding in the cupboard: Rainbows and Sunshine to you all.
Thank
Love, Chrissy. All right, thank you, Chrissy, very much.
Thank you.
So one of the books that I got was this lovely book here, 100 Australian Poems for Children. And it's really interesting to tell you.
Well, you're a child though, James, you know, so...
Oh, I know. Like my Facebook profile is a picture of me with my pants around my knees.
That's right.
That's right, yeah.
Work it hard, man.
Yeah, I got in trouble the other day. Did I tell you that my penis was in the 1985 Guinness Book of World Records? And then the librarian said, "Take it out." Okay, yeah.
Come on, let's do it.
Okay, moving right along, because these are children's poems after all. Right. 50 burly Bushrangers by Isabel Kendall Bowen. 50 burly bushrangers went out to steal some gold, but all the bush was wet with dew and one caught a cold. And one found a bulldog ant creeping in his chest, and one had a gammy leg, and he had to have a rest. One thought he saw a snake, and another had a pain. The rest heard a gun go off, and they scampered home again. And then the next one is about Thunderbolt by Bill Scott. Thunderbolt came from the Hawkesbury River. He was a bushranger and he was a rover. He made all the rich folk shudder and shiver, riding high on a... Sorry about that. He made all the rich folk shudder and shiver, wore fine clothes and lived in clover, riding high on a thoroughbred colt. Bad man, bushranger, Thunderbolt. Uralla, Armadale, Torrington as well, Yarrawick Mountain where the farmers dwell. Saw him ride till a constable in blue caught him and sent him to Cockatoo. But he slipped from his cell and his iron chain to wander free in the bush again. He wandered far, he wandered wide, nobody knows just where he died, but on Yarrawick Mountain when the wind is high and shadowy clouds go drifting by, riding tall on his thoroughbred colt, comes the ghost of Thunderbolt. Comes the ghost of Thunderbolt.
And his Aboriginal wife could kick ass. Good one.
She's the one who got him out of Cockatoo Island. She swam across at night time and with, you know, stuff. Amazing. Yeah, Mary.
Think she might have seen a cockatoo?
One or two.
Yeah.
Okay. This next one is by Kakadu Bill Niji. I've got one of his books over there which has got his whole writing and dreaming story that he delivered before he left this earth. This earth I never damage, I look after. Fire is nothing. Just clean up. When you burn, new grass coming up. That means good animal soon. Might be goose, long-necked turtle, goanna, possum. Burn him off. New grass coming up, new life all over.
Yeah,
And the last one I'm going to read from 100 Australian Poems for Children by Oodgeroo of the tribe Noonuccal, formerly known as Kath Walker. She was the first First Nations female poet to publish a book of verse or a book of poetry. And she's of the Noonuccal tribe, which is of Minjerribah, formerly known as Stradbroke Island, up there just off the coast of Mianjin, formerly known as Brisbane.
Nice lady.
Was she? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think Mark met her.
Yeah, I met.
Bwala the Hunter, that's B-W-A-L-L-A. Bwala the Hunter. In the hard famine time, in the long drought, Bwala the Hunter was on walkabout. Lubra and the children following slow, all proper hungry. Long time now. No more kangaroo out on the plain, gone to other country where there was rain. Couldn't find emu, couldn't find seed, and the children all the time cried for feed. They saw a great eagle come through the sky to his big stick gunya in a gum nearby. Fine young wallaby carried in his feet, bringing tucker carried for his kids to eat. Big fella eagles circled slow, little fella eagles fed below. Wah! Said Bwala the hunter, he, best fella hunter, better than me. He dropped his boomerang, now I climb. All share tucker in the hungry time. We got yumps too, we got need. You make fire and we all have feed. Then up went Walla like a native cat. All the black followers climb like that, and when he look over big nest grim, the young ones all sing out to him. They flapped and spat, they snapped and clawed, they plenty wild with him, my word, they shrilled at tucker thief, big and brown, but Walla took Wallaby and then climbed down. One of the other books that have come all the way from Chrissy in Ballarat is this interesting little one here. Selected Poems 1971 to 1982 of Pamela Brown. I've already read a couple of these out online and I'm going to read them out, the same ones out again, because the two that I chose have got some kind of impact, and it's to do with the way that they're written in really short lines, and so pausing between the lines adds that kind of impact. The first, Pamela Brown was a writer of unusual determination and dedication, the kind of person who works on alone, supporting herself with part-time jobs. Her writing is valuable for its economy, its clarity and toughness. She struggles with the difficult matter of particular aspects of contemporary life. Her writing impresses with its vivid, pared-down style. So there's two I've selected here. First one's Adelaide. Arctic winds, winter in Adelaide. I wait for change, unable to bring it on. Sometimes I feel sick walking home. Life here is regular. I go to work over here in Artland. They are writing about art again. They call it art language and are concerned for those who don't speak it. In the East, the ocean affects the way we think, the way we move and talk. The tiny hills surround this town, mark the spot where the future stops. With no future, there's no history. But the hills are colourful. In this town, ideas come second to funding. Old broken academics say they are stuck in Adelaide and at parties yearn for Paris. The poetry scene is insular, eats itself, is well heeled and uses words like burgeoning. I drink a little every day. I walk the dog. Old filmmakers play croquet. Old actors act. A kind of concussion, a paralysis sets in. Ken Searle paints a budgerigar on Whistler's mother's hair. That's it. Yeah. Adelaide. And it's definitely a bit to do with the delivery, that one. The next one, same thing, Rain Story. When it's very still, very quiet, like this morning, I'm in bed with no cigarettes. Nothing else is like this moment. Rain, the rain I wanted is raining for me. Almost perfect. And this is for your birthday. So, I remember you. Seriously. And the colour I think about now, about you is pale lemon. I don't know if you like it, pale lemon. Hoping you do. I open the window wide and everything alters because of that. We talk a lot, but I wouldn't dare to say cheer up ever again. Once though I said, your eyes are like my dog's. I love fountain pens and gloves. Never see them again, but it doesn't really matter. Anyway, that's what I say. Doesn't matter. Always. And clocks. Dumb clocks. Dumb, exquisite clocks. Dumb violins. Dumb pianos. They make me feel like singing. Today, anyway. In my bed. A small morning. Ever stupid, ever happy. It's all terrific, really. Especially driving through a million near misses. It's like that, isn't it? Really, though, you deserve more than this. On this occasion, a Tommy Leonetti record, an answering service, a ticket south, west, north, east, bed socks. But this is the gift. It is for you. It can't be helped. It's coming from happiness, not from fun, not even from show business. Simply happiness for you. That's the gift, I guess. But sometimes your hand passes through your hair and surely you wonder, so, on that note, I'm going to take a break for now, and I'm going to invite our illustrious, bald man, Paul. I don't know where he is, but he's around here somewhere.
Poets. All right. Now this fella, he knows a fair bit. He sort of knows it's a small world.
How small?
Well, it's pretty small, but you wouldn't want to have to paint it. And this fella, he's sometimes a little bit thick because he thought the spare bank is where whales put their wages. Now, this fella in his homeland of Queensland was known as Lucky.
How lucky?
Well, he's the 11th son. He's born the 11th day in the 11th month. He went to the races. He bet on a horse in the 11th race and ran 11 to 11 and 11 to 1. He put 11,000 on it, ran 11th, he bought 11 cents to get back on. Now give that for a great big hand!
Gag. By who?
Two things, Thundercloud. Thanks for gagging me last week. Three things actually. Three things actually, Thundercloud. Don't confuse the poets about your penis being a book of records when everyone knows it's mine in there. And also, what happened to the 15-minute time limit? That's what we want to know. So I'm going to make this a very short show tonight because I'm heading to Queensland. Tonight. Yeah. Thanks, mate. Beautiful up there. Beautiful up there.
Perfect the next day, though.
Yes, it's Peter Beetleland, I think. Now, just tonight, because I've been gagged, I've been smashed down to nearly nothing. Right? They put the clock on. I've got the clock. I'm gonna. Well, you're gonna get a song, Bonnie. Yeah. Put the clock on. Yeah. Like a big silly, goofy clock, big diamond around James's neck. You know. So, well, just on following through on the musicology. This is for the professor's sake. He's lost in thought there in his book, but I just mentioned three things for the YouTubers out there. And this is, shall we say, contemplative music, rather than the rambunctious operas that we've been talking about, that so disturbs the peace of our master. The first, I'd just like to bring to attention the what's equal to the Impressionist era of painting and music, with three composers: Maurice Ravel, Claude Debussy, and Eric Satie. Now, these gentlemen lived in a turbulent time, sometimes through the First World War, or at least in a great uproar in Europe, and they were rebellious against stentorian, marching, gun-driven military music and stupid music, over-embroidered music. So they stripped music to a beautiful bare minimum. And especially Eric Satie. And I recommend for the YouTubers out there to watch his great pieces. He was not famous for anything except he wrote the Gymnopédies, 1, 2 and 3. That's him. Piano pieces, and he wrote the Gnossians, 1 to 6. So my recommendation for the YouTubers out there, when the show's over and you're bored and the fun's over, when the excitement goes down, then go to YouTube and have a look at Eric Satie. Yeah, write that down, though. He changed his name to Satie, not the delicious food Satie, S-A-T-I-E, Eric Satie. His name was Cornfleur.
The walls, you know, the line of the walls.
Yeah, that's it. Satie. Yeah, Satie. Yeah, Satie. So that's the first one. Sorry for the show. Watch that. I'm rushing along with this, James. Is that you know some of the pace? So the next one I'll mention is Maurice Ravel. Ravel wrote a lot of very contemplative music. By the way, the Satie music is frozen in time. True art talks to the future, and in that day, no one could appreciate his music because it was so still and it was such legato. It was done with such tack and timing on the piano. It's got to be played very slowly. It's one of those things that requires touch, and when you hear it, you'll hear that it brings great peace. And of course, that wasn't popular in those days, but it'll be more popular as the world goes along. He's not really number one, at least. That's the big one.
Could a man play it, or do you need a female?
No, a man can play it.
Man, essentially.
Yeah, you can play it on a linoleum. So anyway, there you go. So that's the first one. Then I'm going to rush it along with Maurice Ravel. Now he's famous for the Bolero, which was a gradually rising tempo piece that finished in a great crescendo. We didn't know how to finish that thing, but it was a very nice piece. A lot of people liked that. Beautiful. But for me, the great work, he wrote this 9-minute piece called The Pavane for a Dead Princess. And the Pavane was a dance from ancient times, a slow dance from ancient times. But he claimed that it wasn't about the death of a little girl. It was just a reflection of a time when a young maiden would have danced in that era, in a medieval era, the pavan. And of course, Ravel wrote that as a piano piece, but it's been heavily orchestrated. And the orchestrated versions are the best. And my recommendation for YouTube, you can write this one down, Doug. The #1 in my book piece on YouTube is Ravel's Pavan, and done by the CSSR Orchestra, a big orchestra in Leningrad, and CSSR Orchestra, because Ravel, Maurice Ravel. Then that one, that particular piece, it's done wonderfully by lots of orchestra around the world. It's a big orchestra piece. And also, Maurice Ravel was, had a lot of beautiful harp moments in his music. You listen to the beautiful crystal sounds of the harp because he was sponsored by harp makers over in France. He popularised the harp in orchestration. And so with the Pavan, my recommendation is the CSSR Orchestra because it has big horn section, big woodwind section that really rocks, and a little bit dissonant, a bit raucous, which is very enjoyable. So that's what I like. It's a bit untamed, that one. And then finally, I'll just say...
Finally?
Yeah, finally, because I'm going to go.
Finally?
Yeah, finally. Yeah, finally. Yeah, I'm off. No, I'm not hanging around here. I'm not hanging around here for 20 minutes.
Come on.
Okay. So last one I'm going to mention for the YouTubers, for the fans, for the music lovers. Hey, for the people that have just got over poetry and want to listen to some music, I'm going to say the great Claude Debussy, the Prelude to the Day of the Fawn, and other pieces. Look at that, very contemplative, beautiful music, very wistful music. Okay, that's about it for the music. Now for song.
Yeah.
Normally, I'd be prattling on for a long time.
Not you, Phil.
No. The pressures of writing an opera called Gang. The pressures of writing an opera.
Yeah, no, the pressure. Like I'm under the pump. I'm under the pump.
Come on, give us a
It's going to be quite an opera. Gong.
Yeah, they're going. Yeah, I'm on the clock. So anyway, I've got to rush off. I'm going to be back anyway. I won't be able to stay around for the joy of all the poetry. I've got a loaded truck ready to roll. So, now I'm going to sing this song. I'm going to sing this song, and then I'm going to invite the poets, to tell, pray. Who wrote and sang this song? Who wrote and sang this song?
Okay, go on.
Okay, who?
Trivia night.
Who? All right. This one goes. Okay. No, look at it. All right. Oh, by the way, thanks, Chrissy. Another shout out. James is thrilled. He's like a little boy with a big stocking, right? He's got a big stocking somewhere too. This one, I won't say who sang it. I'll sing it, and then all you great minds can tell me. Okay, you'll all know.
Charlie Gray.
You'll all know.
Is that a request or a demand?
Oh no, well you can take it any way you like. Like everything here is a demand from me, but you can think it's a request.
Come on, Paul.
Oh, sorry. I start to wank on again. Shit.
Tom is a drama.
Okay. All right. Oh well, why don't you love me like you used to do? What makes you treat me like a worn-out shoe? My hair's still curly and my eyes are still blue. Why don't you love me like you used to do? Had no loving like a kiss and a hugging in a long, long while. We don't get nearer, further, closer than a country mile. Why don't you say the things you used to say? What makes you treat me like a piece of clay? My hair's still curly and my eyes are still blue. Why don't you love me like you used to do? Ain't had no loving like a kissing and a hugging in a long, long while. But don't get nearer, further, closer than a country mile. Why don't you say the things you used to say? Why don't you be like you used to be? How come you find so many faults in me? Somebody's changed, so let me give you a clue. Why don't you love me like you used to do? Ain't had no loving like a kissing and a hugging in a long, long while. We don't get nearer, further, closer than a country mile. Why don't you love me like you used to do? What makes you treat me like a worn-out shoe? My hair's still curly and my eyes are still blue. Why don't you love me like you used to do? Good night.
Who is it? Who is it? That's the perfect one.
Doris Day.
Ricky Perry?
Exactly. Paul, Doris Day.
Oh, who was it?
Who wrote it?
I forgot. I'm going to take a Mars bar off everyone for not knowing that.
We'll have to find out. We'll find out.
Have a safe trip, Paul. Do you need a coffee to take with you?
Oh, you're allowed?
No, we're not
Oh,
going
yeah, you make coffee. I just get a few more
No, I'll do this. All right. Here is the news.
The news.
Exactly.
Yes, there is an amazing new variant of horse. It's a pink flying unicorn, of course, made by crossing a rhino and a pink bunny, a dragonfly, a horse. And it's not funny, Steve. Yeah. You should not laugh at this genetic piracy, the TV told me. It's not a conspiracy. Everyone knows that TV never lies. Ad break. Eat Auntie Mary's vegan pork pies. The pink flying unicorn has a big spike. A reporter on the ground. Over to you, Mike. Oh, Mike from BS News. This unicorn is fierce. Oh my God, I've just seen this unicorn pierce 50 babies and a puppy with its unicorn horn. Stay at home. Wear a mask. I'm here to warn you in order to protect you. Eat goanna thighs. Consume. Obey. And the government never lies.
There you go.
That's it for the news. Thank you very much. Well, whether the weather will be red will depend on whether I can read the weather. All right, on that note, and I was going to invite Doug on up here next, but since he's gone,
He hasn't gone.
he hasn't gone, he's just on the phone. But James is over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, James. Well,
Yeah,
we've
James.
got a special right today. Because it's James's last. Oh, he's missed out. He's been shuffled back.
Yes.
Yeah, we've got a queue jumper here.
Yes.
It's the Australian way.
Way to go. Way to go.
Yeah, so it's James's last night for a little while. He's going on a bit of a tour. Because the way things work out there, there's the way that Australian government aid to the Pacific works. We bring islanders here, and the government pays Costa pays them that money, and then they just brought 50 new Samoans here to do that. But that means James, an Australian, loses his job for a while.
I could have been on call.
Yeah, to be on call, but he loses his hours. Yeah. Anyway, but that's how it works. So James is going on a walkabout, and he will be back. I know because he'll miss Vincent.
So everybody say
Wherever he is. Welcome, James.
Thank you. Hello, everyone.
Yay.
In YouTube world. I might do a couple of my old favourites that I did back. I know a couple of early nights here.
Paul wrote.
Start with, they're all mostly self-titled, kind of. This one's first line, its title is Read Between the Lines. Read between the lines to see what it defines. Absent in intention, leaving no depression, false in its oppression. Leading you to nothing, what you aren't told, lack of want for caring, ideas free to fold. Guided by what isn't there, take your own ride, pay your own fare. A wave stuck in the tide, wind apart from air. Idle along the side, down the line tear. Shrill winds whisper, words beneath the view, as a dream floats on a cloud and past the heavens flew. A truth so mysterious it shines, ignorantly evade the signs. The ever-present elusively pines, for riches not found in mines. Are you that lucky? Another one of my favourites, this one's titled The Nymph, the Muse and the Ideal Horse. The river was wild, crashing a thunder, owed to a slip, a footstep to blunder. A look this way, a glimpse at that, how far to stray, a fitting hat. An elegant, effortless trot, lost in the dreams of a well-placed dot. They met at the edge of the water, glistening radiant on everything shone. That place where I sought her, blessed be nature, an ode to a throne. A meeting of wiles, a delicate whim, a place of smiles and chances slim. Fleeting subtle in an instant gone, lingering memories not yet done. The dress was feathery, semi-translucent, except for the horse, shimmering, evanescent. Hair so lovely, a vertical wave, a beguiled heart I could not save. Caresses the longing of a space not reached, hints to understanding I cannot be teached. Taught would be better, lessons steeply learned, illusion to shatter, I should have been forewarned. Broken in to tame the wild, another king, a wish too mild, and yet I'll return whenever I can. I'm already lost to being a fan. And the last one I'll do, change is the ultimate goal, is the first line and kind of title, and one of my first favourites. Change is the ultimate goal, to be part of or move independently of the shoal. Progressively learning lessons, despite the endless eons. Time is only an illusion, this age an exciting instance to be in. Alas, it is amidst confusion. Profusion and abundance, a race not to win. More like a journey, a path to travel, understanding itself, a mystery to unravel. Waiting and relief, its own wealth. A seeker searching for belief, the maker evasive by stealth. Found out of order, inclined to mischief, eternally immortal and yet declined health. Choose your fate, destiny awaits, intrigue to sate, its appetite at any rate. Direction baits, what transformation collates. Metamorphosis. End of the old, beginning of the new. An idea of the past on which to hold, then told, does not so much to influence thought, as it imbues a faithful hue on the view with a cue, clue, review, what is seen by few, then soul cold, emotionless temperate to fit the mould, what's new, cajoled. Persuasive past, reluctant present. Information's fast when truths require rent. Could life's task be heaven sent? Great on a curve, I'm already bent. Are you learning to swerve, is the question I meant.
Wow.
Wow.
Hey, hasn't James's delivery improved? There you go.
Amazing.
A lot, like over the last 3 months, heaps. Like,
Yep.
yeah. Well done. Yeah. Thank you very much, James.
Yes.
I'm going to invite Doug on up
Yay.
here. Before I go, just remember, Wayne Scoothorpe, he's coming here next week on the 26th of May, Thursday night. Yeah. And the Sunday, the 29th of May, Laura Zahab and the Soul Express Cabaret here. That's a Sunday evening too. So Thursday and Sunday. Oh, yeah.
It does, eh?
Yeah, well, thank you, good evening. I forget to give acknowledgement to the lady in Ballarat that keeps sending us...
Chrissy?
Yeah, she keeps sending us presents and compliments. I could say you bloody well should. How could you upstage that guy that shot through to Queensland?
Yeah.
You couldn't. You wouldn't try.
No, we've got to compliment, not compete. Thank you very much. Thank you out there. Now, I was going to give him a bit of a stage up, but that wouldn't be real easy. But I've got a brochure here about bloody opera. You know, I'm not the expert, but that man could share a lot of this stuff. I actually just said left, I gave him a copy of this flyer. It comes out of Armadale. I just want to wave it at you and show it in passing. It says screenings 2 p.m. Sundays at the Playhouse, Armadale. 1st of May finished, 12th of June, 3rd July, August, September. They're playing an opera and a film of the opera which is performed, you probably might know about it. They've all been done and you filmed them and they're playing them. The whole opera in the Playhouse. There you go, that's my little bit of operatic input. I don't know much about opera, my folks.
I want to know what you mean by them saying that they've all been done.
Well, the Armadale Society of Music or whatever.
They did a film of them.
Yeah, they videoed
them. Okay,
and you're replaying them.
Oh, good.
So it's a local sort of product.
Good one. Yeah.
Oh. Wait a minute, look at it. Okay. Alright, well, I'm having a go. I felt the fish and I hadn't written nothing at lunchtime. Anyway, I did something quick. And I've got a little bit of... I've got a bit of extraterrestrial input as usual. It's not my fault I had to live in an 18 museum. It wasn't my fault. Okay. So I'll do the poem first or last. I've got two. I'll do this one first. Bear with me. It's called The Dentist. Yeah, when you go to the dentist, emotionally you feel like writing something before you pay the bill or after. For sure. Okay, here we go. I'll do my best. I just scribbled it on a bit of paper. The dentist. I'm sitting in the chair. It just ain't fair. At least it ain't electric burning up my bum. I feel so alone being in your throne. The nurse tells me straight, a bit of pain will make you strong. You can't get it from a smoky bomb. You don't have to laugh. Yeah. Get away with your drill. I'm feeling quite ill. But sir, we really must remove the crap. Try and have a lovely nap. A nap, you say? You must be kidding. Your drill's so noisy. Your drill's so noisy, so annoying to this young boysy. Oh. Where'd that come from?
Are you serious?
No. Not lying. I'm bloody serious. That's a bloody worry. They're dead. Look. Noisy boysy. Yes. Noisy boysy. Yes. Those bloody drills. Anyway. Look, there's lots of drilling and filling. They're helping my choppers. If I'm going to keep living, I've got to keep chewing. I can munch only with my gums. No, sorry, I can munch with my gums only. T-bone steak makes me work. I'll cut all my whinging and I'll tell you my joy. They're mending my teeth. I'm so glad underneath. Miss Dentist, Tooth Fairy and her lovely old cider are doing me proud. Cut me bill quite in half. They cut me bill in half. Made me kneel down and laugh and blow them a kiss with love and with bliss.
Yeah.
Wow. They cut me bill in half.
Good work, that's it, Derek.
Yeah. Now this is a little more interesting in a sense. You don't listen to my bitching about dentists. Now, This is from this little book I might have quoted, Making Contact. The title says, Preparing for the New Realities of Extraterrestrial Existence. And I've met a lot of the fellas that have had this contact when I was living over, so I can't help but be touched. All right, now this little piece, it's actually a poem written by a woman. I'll tell you who she is. Her name's Henrietta Weeks. Weeks, W-Lover. She's English, I think. Actress and writer who expresses, how do you like this? This woman expresses the poetic, dreamlike nature of the contact experience. And she's Adam. Okay. Now, I'll get over to the little piece. This is a chapter by this particular woman and it's called Something Moving. I'll do my best to read it. It's only short. She says in italics, who visits me? White beams, white feathers, white shapes, lately scorpions. Life crawls, sees, pulsates, a majestic, ceaseless, spiralling dance. Formation, in formation. What is being birthed? Over and over. The white beings come at night, sometimes in the day. Are they my friends? Question mark. What do they receive and what do they take? They imbue me with stars. Be aware of the scorpion, symbol of the ego. 2 nights ago I killed one.
An ego.
She killed a scorpion,
Yeah.
symbol of the ego. And I'll finish on that. And the last little bit is, she quotes about movement. And she quotes a little bit of Einstein. He said, they asked Einstein something about the meaning of it, the secret. And he says something moves. Well, the whole quote says, nothing happens unless something moves. When something vibrates, the electrons of the entire universe resonate with it. Everything's connected. So that's about all. And she says, one little quote, she says it's up to us to hitch a ride with something moving. I don't mind that.
No, that sounds good.
Sitting still's going to kill me quick. Thank you very much.
Ride with something standing still, Doug.
Thank you, Doug.
Thank you, sir.
You're very welcome.
Tell us a bit about Glenn Scoothorpe. What's he do? Why should you come and feel his vibes?
Why should you feel? Because he's recorded 6 or 7 albums, as well as the soundtrack to Utopia, John Pilger's film, and Emu Runner, the 2019 film. And he's deadly.
Yes.
Yes. Opera, hey?
Gagged.
Opera,
That's the latest opera. Gagged. What's this?
Opera.
Opera.
Winfrey.
Yeah. Opera. We've had enough of it. No, I'm not. I don't know. I'm not happy with this one because it doesn't tell me where I'm going to sing the words. I'm going Yeah. I'm going to do a different one.
Make it pra.
Yeah.
Opera. Pra.
Yeah, I'm going to do Ave Maria. That's what I'm going to do. Just for you, because, like, why not? Because there's been so much, like, opera discussion in this place.
This is for you, Mum.
Yeah, it's all, but he's not here.
Yes.
It's not the version I want to do. I'm going to have to find this later. I'm going to invite someone else up anyway. Because I can't find the version.
One of my favourite songs.
Actually, okay. We'll
Italian and English.
In the old days in Brazil, at 6 o'clock, the buses, tram stations, supermarkets used to all suddenly go Ave Maria. Switch on and the whole city would do Ave Maria.
Wow.
I don't know if they still do it, but it was a bizarre Brazilian cult action. Yeah, that's true.
Wow.
A flash mob.
You'd be sitting in a supermarket and suddenly it's
I'm going to sing along with Andrea Bocelli.
The whole city would do it, everything. That's only in Brazil.
Here we go.
Thus.
I'm going to just leave it at that, and I'm not going to do it tonight because I haven't practiced. Thank you very much. See?
Wow, that was amazing.
It was a noble effort.
Yeah, next time, if I'm on the stage, I'm better.
You had a few moments there, James.
Yeah, it is. It's not. Anyway, moving right along. Who's next?
Somebody read a poem.
Steve's disappeared.
I will read one. I found one.
Ashley's going to step into Steve's shoes.
I have never read Eve Langley, but like the dimension of opera here, or pra here, I never stopped reading about her. And tonight I'm sitting there and pops up Eve Langley and a poem that she wrote amongst her many travails. And I thought that it was a very remarkable and very melancholy. Bear with me while I enjoy flicking from page to page, because after all, once you get to 70, that's the metaphor for your life. Flicking from page to page. I did enjoy the spiel. As long as the pages are not blank, so that you have some differentiation on the journey. I did enjoy all the stuff about Ravel, but I would have liked a spiel about La Valse, which is really one of his most intriguing texts.
Who's this woman singing, mate? Is she a singer?
Eve Langley wrote this, and well, speaks for itself. It's called Native Born. She wrote The Pea Pickers, which I've never read, but so many of the women in my life have been by it obsessed. In a white gully among fungus red, where serpent logs lay hissing at the air, I found a kangaroo. Tall, dewy, dead. So like a woman, she lay silent there, her ivory hands black-nailed crossed on her breast, her skin of sun and moon hues, fallen cold. Her brown eyes lay like rivers come to rest, and death had made her black mouth harsh and old. Beside her, in the ashes, I sat deep and mourned for her, but had no native song to flatter death, while down the ploughland steep, dark young Camelli whistled loud and long. Love, liberty and Italy are all. Broad golden was his breast against the sun. I saw his wattle whip rise high and fall across the slim mare's flanks. And one by one she drew the furrows after her, as he flapped like a gull behind her, climbing high, chanting his oaths and lashing soundingly, while from the mare came once a blowing sigh. The dew upon the kangaroo's white side had melted. Time was whirling high around like the thin woomera, and from heaven wide God the bull roarer made continuous sound. incarnate, lay my country by my hand, her long hot days, bushfires and speaking rains, her mornings of opal and the copper band of smoke around the sunlight on the plains. Globed in fire bodies, the meat ants ran to taste her flesh and linked us as we lay forever Australian, listening to a man from careless Italy swearing at our day when golden-lipped eagle hawks came down hissing and whistling to eat of lovely earth. And the blowflies, with their shields of purple-brown, plied hatching to and fro across her fur. I burnt her with the logs and stood all day among the ashes, pressing home the flame, till woman, logs and dreams were scorched away, and native with night, that land from where they came. An interesting thing about that poem, as I read it, first seated with some of the Empyrean thoughts of our evening, was how beautiful and lamentable. And then when I read it, it struck me, trying to keep a figure to the movement of it, that it's particularly an utterance that has full stops. If you come and have a look at it any time at the orthography, full stops. She has this tremendous, powerful control of the full stop.
Thank you.
Period.
Stop.
Stop.
There you go.
Stop.
Thank you, Steve. And with that, on that note, I'll invite Steve Wordsmithe on up. Thank
Whoa,
you.
What man you get around there? How's it all going out there in Facebook? It's really good to be here at the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame, as always. As always, I haven't been around the world, but I've been around the block. I don't know it all, but I know a bloody lot. I don't have a house or a place of abode. I spend most of my time on the side of the road. I'm an outback poet, just moving around with my heart in the bush and my feet on the ground. I've travelled this land from the top to the bottom. I've been to the Murray, I've seen the cod rotten. I've travelled from east and I've travelled from west. I've travelled with zeal and I've travelled with zest. When you open up your eyes to realise the real eyes, and you realise the real lies, there's plenty of real lies happening. And when we go into this election time, I find it really difficult to vote for something that's broken. Because I believe the governmental system that we know is broken. It is broken, and it's about time we come up with a new system.
No, we don't all agree on that.
I don't care if we don't all agree or not there, Ashley, but that's fine.
Here!
That's fine.
Well, that's your point, isn't it?
That's exactly right. You know that I'm eccentric. You know that I'm quite weird. You know that I wear rainbow and I have a long white beard. Don't judge the book by the cover, and listen to my heart. If you think that I'm a strange one, and don't listen to my words, if you will miss the Spirit's message by thinking that I'm absurd. So listen to my heart. Don't be put off by my ways, even if you have to close your eyes. But listen to what I have to say. It's time for the humankind to not follow the herd blindly and question every word. The mainstream news is lying. The population is being manipulated and let down by the wrong track, by the, I can't even read this thing, by a bunch of evildoers. Oh, okay, I'll have to carry on. I can't read it.
Message. We got it.
Okay, right. Anyway, I've got a number of poems here that I'd really like to put forward, and there's one of them here, and let me see if I can find it out. It's called the movement. This southern land of plenty, blessed by the Father's hand, girt by ocean waters, bound by golden sands. This is a land of beauty, a land of sweeping plains, of rugged mountain ranges, of droughts and driving rains. The fall of fire poured out on mortal man, yes, awakening in this country and moving through this land, like a wave of the source's glory, gifting all the sparks as we clothe ourselves in humility and seek the higher self. This is the land of purpose. We have our future in our hands if we look for supervision and seek for eternal plan. Let's lose this tag of battlers. We have it in our grip. It's time to join the freedom train. Jump on, enjoy the trip. The spirit of the Christos is here, transforming the hearts of man, raising up the daughters, raising up the sons. And let's not get discouraged. It's different from the rest. The awakening that is here today is loving, continual, and eternal, the best. And I had another little one that I just wanted to put forward here, because this place has got a bit of a name, you know. The Gyra Ghost.
Yeah.
There are tales that are told of this ghost that was bold, that roamed through the streets of this town. Notoriety was found, and a movie with sound made to show the paranormal was real. The Gyra locals and journalists from far reported it all, and the ghost escapades were wild, but they were real. However, sometimes mysteries are not to be exposed to the lot. The reels of film were lost, so unreal, and records from the paper disappeared. So the mystery of the Gyra ghost was lost to the most. However, on them dark nights, winter nights, and when the mist and the fog, when the dogs start howling for no reason why, some still remember and wonder, and the tales of the Gyra ghost live on. And then I have just this other little one that I just might finish off, and this one's for Doug here, okay? I think it's called the Fifth Dimension. When our understanding reaches the place where we realise that humanity is in a place of great awakening, in transformation from a carbon-based to a silicon-based form. Silica being crystal, as in Christos, and the willingness to access to all the tools that are given is the answer. To come to that place where our realisation that we are what we are is love, and that our purpose is to project much love into the world and overcome every distraction that tries to take our real eyes off who we really are. Understanding that the physical world is only an illusion, and by the energy that we project, we create a brand new world in the fifth dimension. Thank you. Thanks for having me here. It's always good that the world is a better place because poets are in it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, I was told a very short couplet last week, and I was told that it was written by Banjo Patterson, and I'm not sure if this is true or not. So if anyone can confirm this, the following couplet, whether or not it's written by Banjo Patterson, and the same out there in the virtual world, let me know. And it goes something like this. What'll it be, said the barman, picking his nose. 2 bloody hard-boiled eggs. You can't stick your fingers in those. Yeah, that's it. It's a couplet. Yeah, a rhyming couplet. If it's a banjo, let me know. If it's not, let me know.
You don't think so?
Don't know? No? All right. Okay, well, on that note, then, I'm going to do this. I don't know. So, a little tongue twister full of alliteration that I wrote. A man named Bill was sitting on a hill under a tree with a woman named Lil. Along came Jill and a man named Phil. So Bill, Lil, Jill and Phil sat up on a hill under a tree right up until Bill had his fill. Then Lil, Jill and Phil were left upon the hill because of Bill's will. And what was the one I made up on the weekend? Oh yeah, okay. There once was a man and his name was Phil. He couldn't get it up, so he took a Viagra pill.
You're going to place me on the show.
I don't know if I can do the rest of this.
You can't do it.
Phil got stiff and then he got hard and he jerked off and ejaculated all around the yard. And then the dog licked it up. There's the joke. There's the joke. Right, on that, we're getting smarmy. I'm going to invite our newest poet up. We've got a new poet, Sierra.
Yay.
All the way from Armidale has come on up
Good
tonight.
on ya.
And,
Wow.
and yeah!
Just have the logic and not
Yeah.
the scatter.
No judgment.
So this poem I brought tonight, I thought, so when I was younger, my mum loves poetry, and she wrote a lot, and I wrote this one with her when I was about 10 or 11. I don't know how much I actually contributed to this one, so I thought if I bring it along, if everyone hates it, then we can blame her and not me. Alright, so, first public speaking in a while. It's called Rapunzel. You may have heard the story of Rapunzel's hair of glory, but there's something you should know, that while yes, her hair did grow, it housed 1,000 bugs or so. Now boyfriends are quite hard to find, and from a tower keep in mind, but maidens with grubs in their hair can't find boyfriends anywhere. They pass right by and only stare. Ah, but then one stormy rainy day, a slyly challenged prince galloped her way. The men in the town had told him all the tales of the beautiful maiden that gets all the males. He rode his sturdy horse to his maiden fair. Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your golden hair. Well, her hair came down with all its charms. The bugs and grubs climbed up his arms. The prince cried out, oh, sound the alarms! Not a single soul was close enough to hear. It seems the bugs were eager to eat. The prince heard one cry, it's on, fresh meat. They chewed his flesh down to his feet. Now poor Rapunzel, keep in mind, still can't figure out after all this time why princes left her all alone and why they wouldn't write or even phone. And what was that pile of blood and bone? That's all I brought.
Wow.
Eve Langley would have liked to have heard that.
Awesome. Awesome. Very good. Very good. Thank you very much.
Excuse me for a moment.
Yes.
I just want to try your tabletop on.
Okay.
And I'll just, I'll just see what size up and I'll leave you there.
All right.
Bless you.
Hey, on that note, I would, about Rapunzel, there's an amazing slam poet. Her name is Sarah Temporel. Do you know her? Yeah. Who does a poem called Rapunzel. Have you ever heard it?
No, I haven't.
No. So it's there on YouTube, but if you look for it, there's about 5 versions, and you need to go down to the version that says 03 Sarah Temporel Nimbin Performance Poetry World Cup. And she won the Nimbin Performance Poetry World Cup 3 years ago with this piece called Rapunzel, and it's a really good feminist expose. Like it's a great thing about Rapunzel being pigeonholed and put into a.
Sarah's also an inspiration for poets too.
Absolutely,
she's got a poetry thing called Poets Out Loud in
Poets Out Loud in Mawillimbay.
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah, Sarah Temporal. And her partner Damien Beck has also won the Australian Poetry Slam or something like that at one time, okay, thank you very much, Sierra. Wonderful. Who have we got next on the list? We have another female poet, Bronwyn. Welcome.
Now, I did write some of this. I've been kind of cruising on other people's poetry, but some of this I wrote, okay?
We've been missing you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
You've been having a few nights off.
Yeah. Oh, that makes me feel loved and wanted.
Oh, well, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. So this first one is the genius of the Lunic, and then I've kind of improvised on that. So Lunic says, Summer. Summer, oh you big hot thing, it's hard to know what you will bring. Something golden, something black. You are such a maniac. I planted 3 tomato plants. I met a dog. We did a dance. Beneath the moon's old silver spell, it makes tomatoes ripen well. Or so I used to hear it said by birds that landed on my head. And so we danced to welcome back the great, amazing maniac, Summer. Now, so I wrote, yeah, that was Lunic. So I wrote, Autumn, oh autumn, you big mellow thing. Thanks for all your yellow, but we find it hard to swallow all that rain, rain, rain. Tell us, please, autumn, what might winter bring? Something wet, something black. Winter too, such a maniac. Now, look, I just want to tell you, I wanted to add to that. Ever since I went to boarding school and was taught by the old tiger, but she was a brilliant teacher, a bit. But they were sort of sad, those teachers, because their fiancés had been killed in the war. And they were lonely people, but with their heart in the right place. Anyway, she loved John Keats. So this is just delving into my memory of what Keats said about autumn. Now this is a master. Season of mists and mellow fruitfulness, close bosom friend of the maturing sun, conspiring with him how to load and bless with fruit that round the thatch eaves run. Isn't that beautiful? And then he describes autumn as a young girl sitting on the granary floor, and he says, and thee, sitting on the granary floor, thy hair soft lifted by the winnowing wind. Personification, how beautiful. Now I want to read you a bedtime story.
I wanted to hear the rest of autumn.
I know, I couldn't find it actually. I thought you might know it.
Don't know it off the head.
I'd like to read you the whole of autumn. It's one of my favourites.
You bring it up on the machine here. Keats's autumn, I think. It'll come up on a nice...
Well, maybe next week. I figured I could squeeze it in because we're not quite at winter yet. And I just wanted to honour autumn. Now look, I want to just tell you a bedtime story, and this is a true story, true. It's called What Goes Around Comes Around. His name was Fleming, and he was a poor Scottish farmer. One day, while trying to eke out a living for his family, he heard a cry for help coming from a nearby bog. He dropped his tools and ran to the bog. There, mired to the waist in black muck, was a terrified boy screaming and struggling to free himself. Father Fleming saved the lad from what could have been a slow and terrifying death. The next day, a fancy carriage pulled up to the Scotsman's Spares hut. An elegantly dressed nobleman stepped out and introduced himself as the father of the boy. Farmer Fleming had saved. The father of the boy, Father Fleming had saved. I want to repay you, said the nobleman. You saved my son's life. The Scottish farmer, waving off the offer, said, no, I can't accept payment for what I did. At that moment, the father's son came to the door of the family hovel. Is that your son? The nobleman asked. Yes, the farmer replied proudly. I'll make a deal with you. Let me take him and give him a good education. If the lad is anything like his father, he will grow to be a man you can be proud of. True story. The nobleman took the boy, and in time, Father Fleming's son graduated from St. Mary's Hospital Medical School in London. He became known throughout the world as the noted Sir Alexander Fleming, the discoverer of penicillin.
I didn't know that.
Many years later, the nobleman's son was stricken with pneumonia. And it was penicillin that saved his life. The name of the nobleman was Lord Randolph Churchill, and his son was Sir Winston Churchill.
Wow. Wow.
Isn't that a record?
That's beautiful.
Wow.
Spooky, spooky.
Well, that's, thank you very much. Very, very interesting. Yeah. I'm going to invite Gabriel up. Gabriel, don't leave me.
Hi everybody. The night is drawing in, and so I won't try patience. 3. First one is from the earliest English poems book, which I bought from the Rotary sale that James was mentioning. And I've had a good look through these. Most of them are about battles. Most of them are only in fragments because they go back to early Anglo-Saxon times. And so it's quite hard to find one that's going to come across as really coherent. And not just boringly, we won, I mean, who cares, even if it's Beowulf. But here's one that's perhaps a little better than the others in terms of engaging our modern cynical minds. And this is anonymous, but they found 2 burnt fragments in the ruin, not the ruins, in excavations of the English city of Bath, Aquae Sulis, when it was Roman. This poet is bemoaning the disappearance of the Romans and all the things that they wrought, rather like in the Monty Python film of what the Romans have done for us. So briefly, well wrought this wall, weirds broke it, the stronghold burst. Snapped roof fires, towers fallen, the work of the giants, the stonesmith mouldereth. Rime scoureth gate towers, rime on mortar. Shattered the shower shields, roofs ruined, age underate them. And the wielders and the rights, earth grip holds them, gone long gone. Fast in grave grasp, while 50 fathers and sons have passed. I'm just going to stop there, it gives you a flavour. And because of the opportunity this has given me to realise about it, so I'm going to donate this to the Poetry Hall of Fame.
Wait.
Yeah. And two of mine, one of them is a work in progress, and the other one Ash has heard before, but I haven't done it in this venue. I think I'll do that one first. This one's called A Dream of Red Mallards, which is a play on one of the most famous traditional Chinese books, A Dream of Red Gables or Red Lanterns, I forgot which. So here we go. I was at a fairground stall, midnight in Medan. That's the capital of Sumatra, if you don't know. The stall had pyramids of porcelain ducks, heads facing me. I had 10 golden hoops to throw. If my aim were true, I would win the prize signified by the pewter labels hung round every head. Different duck, different prize. Letters with sparkling orange spelt out an object of possible desire, or a state of probable contentment. Those to my left had labels for things like a black stretch limousine with a chauffeur, palazzo fully serviced near the Rialto, a controlling share in a telecom monopoly. Those to my right had labels for events such as discovering on Madagascar dodo still wreathed, writing the screenplay of a Spielberg blockbuster, coining and popularising the next great ism. Those in front of me were more abstract, promising answers to such questions as, how do we go faster than light speed? To what is Ebola an evolutionary adaptation? Which bits of today's metaphysics are tomorrow's physics? Was it better to aim for one specific duck, or blindly throw where no man had thrown before, and hope some invisible wind would, with superordinate wisdom, speed the hoop to where it would best fulfill some supernal strategy? Or better yet, to mix these two, first aiming like a basketballer with turns 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, then throwing blindly with every even turn. Yes, why choose one when both are available? So, first I aimed left to the dodo duck, most carefully. It was a perfect shot. It came down around the duck's neck. So strong its clang, the head fell off the duck. The duck fell off the stall, taking down the pyramid of porcelain fowls onto the ground in many pieces. Do I get my wish, said I. Do I get my ducks, said the stall. And lastly, this is one in progress that I saw last week. Ever since there was a programme on one of the nature channels that you get on TV, there was a woman in America who kept as a pet an animal that she'd been studying, or a daughter had been studying in a university lab, and it was an octopus. And it turned out, something I didn't know, maybe some of you did, that an octopus is more intelligent than us, because it's got many brains and it can multitask without one task disturbing the others. I want to know more about that. So this one is eventually going to be called the Urban Spaceman, like the 1971 hit. And I want to see if I'm on the right lines by reading it out before I've actually finished it. Okay. I found my thanks in large fish tanks, wherein dwelt an octopus, calm, serene, no noise, no fuss. One arm pulled a crab out of a jar. One arm twisted round a stick of rock. One arm beckoned to a baby star. One arm seemed my wave to mock. The octopus with its 3 hearts can multitask, each arm independent of the others. So I could too play many parts, but need to mask each hand, so what it does is unseen by its brothers. Now I live as if on Venus, an urban spaceman fully sealed, immune to toxins in between us, surviving well the battlefield. Now I smile as exercise. Bosses take my silence as consent. Rellos express their glad surprise at my social sentiment. I'm the urban spaceman, lady, I can think. I'm a missing link. From outer harmony and false appearance to inner dialectical forbearance, I'm the urban spaceman, matey, with aplomb, a very nice time bomb.
Thank you. The weird thing is that the other day I found this poetry journal of mine,
octopus legs.
Well, I opened it at the page, and I left this page open on my desk over here, ready to read about, called The Octopus. And I wrote this a couple of years ago, and it was because of that they're multi-dimensional. Scientists have just discovered that their DNA is from outer space or something like that, alien DNA. Interesting.
Can we show the film? I was going to mention it to Gabriel Wee. My son, Air Force fella, he showed us a film years ago, a couple of years. My Teacher, the Octopus.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. My Teacher, the Octopus. Brilliant stuff.
Have you seen that?
My Teacher, the Octopus.
It's mythical.
Do you reckon it might be on YouTube?
Yeah.
Well, you know.
My teacher.
Hey Vincent, are you going to do one for us? No. Okay, cool. All right, well then we're coming up to the end of the show. So I've got the octopus, I'll read out first. The octopus is kind of strange. It has a multi-dimensional brain. It has no left or right. Instead, it has 8 tentacles off its head. And they bend up and also down, stretch, grab things and twirl around. It is a problem solver. Did I mention that octopus think in many dimensions? Where nothing is ever black or white, but shades of blue without sunlight at the bottom of the deep blue sea, the octopus thinks multi-dimensionally. They eat fish and baby cod. The octopus is a cephalopod. Yeah. I'm going to finish off with 2 more. One of them is one that I wrote last August by the looks of it, sometime. And then finally one from a poet friend of mine, Paris-Marie Boreham, that she sent me to read and check out the other day. No? Okay. This is called Governments. Governments win every election. Excited politicians get an erection at the prospect of planning a new direction while the people are mounting an insurrection. But every election governments win. the opportunity to put their snout in the bin, strawberry pie dribbling down their chin while people eat crumbs and become thin. Governments gain jobs from statism, whether or not it's totalitarian fascism or authoritarian communism, while the people could do quite well with anarcho-capitalism. Governments don't provide democracy. Representative democratic hypocrisy is really a form of autocracy, while the people want liberty and to be free. Governments win, politicians lose to long-term bureaucrats who abuse power with policies that they choose, while people are kept in the dark and confused. Government bureaucrats build empires sitting in towers like churches with spires, with fat superannuation checks retires, while people in second-hand car yards kick tires. Governments addicted to power like porn, taxing people like sheep who are shorn, provide infotainment and free popcorn. Oh people, I warn, I warn, I warn, I warn. Governments deceive people with charm. Have you read George Orwell's Animal Farm? Some animals are more equal. Sound the alarm while people see through the government harm. There you go. Yeah. And the last one I'm going to read is from Paris. That's her name, not a place. Paris-Marie Boreham. To lighten the load, upon a rough road, I fall in a wonderful dream where golden plants bloom with honey perfume under a sky of ice cream. Pause, walk about where waterfalls spout, soothing and smoothing my way, and with nature's tune I leave the cocoon to saltwater sands of gourmet. There on the shore where eagles' wings soar in beams from the sun on a set, warm zephyr zen tempts me again where clapping sticks tap by the Met. Enticing with song crescendos prolong, nourishing riches within, and here in this place I love to embrace the dreamtime graces of kin. So thanks Paris-Marie Boreham. Thank you Steve, Gladys, Gabriel, Ashley, James, Vincent, Sierra, Sierra's friend. Sorry, I forgot your name. Ian, her, and she, and he, and she, and Bronwyn, and Doug, and Larry, and everybody else out there in the world, and Chrissy, of course, from Ballarat, and Paul. Everyone, thank you very much. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up, like, subscribe, click on the bell, and yeah, everyone, good night.
I'll see you all in July because I'm going to Indonesia.
Whoa!
And then I'm going to